Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be reviewing New Spring by Robert Jordan. And just first off, spoiler alert for just this book. I won't be talking about the rest of the series, just this book. But first, let me just weigh in on the when you should read New Spring debate, because apparently there's some debate around this. I chose to read it in publication date. I just think most things I like to read in the order that they came out, or watch, or just in general. Like I know with like Star Wars, some people say you should like watch the prequels before you watch the original series. I don't think that makes any sense. But with this, I have heard that there are people who say that you should read this book before you read The Eye of the World, and I'm just like, why? Why would you do that? Like, it's just I really don't understand. If you think that, please comment below why, because like you would be not confused. Okay, here's the thing. I don't think you'd be confused if you did it that way. But I think that you'd miss out on a lot of what makes this book cool. Like what makes this book cool is like we've seen these characters in the actual series, and we're getting kind of the prequel, like where they were before. And so I just don't think that it's optimal for enjoyment. Like I guess you could, but I don't think you should. And I know that there are other people. I know that Daniel Green, he says to read it after either book 5 or 6. I definitely get why you would read it after book 5. But I just chose to do it after publication just because I didn't want any chance of being spoiled. But I think that honestly, I mean, you really could read this book at any point without there being any real spoilers, any major spoilers. I wouldn't read it before Eye of the World. Please don't read it before Eye of the World. That's all I'm going to say. So let's talk about the book specifically. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Some people have said it like doesn't feel like part of the series. I think it does. I mean, it's Robert Jordan's writing. It fit right in. Yeah, there's no Rand, but I mean, they talk about him though. But I think that some of the highlights of this for me were Moraine and Swan in the Tower as accepted, and just like seeing them go through the process of becoming Aes Sedai. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. I think that also I would just like to point out there are some pretty heavy. I don't know if people have talked about this before, but I think that Robert Jordan drew a lot of the inspiration for like the way the White Tower operates from like how like fraternities and sororities operate. Like like the structure is like very similar. Not necessarily practices, but just the structure and like the way that they're set up with like you have this like overarching system where like people like kind of like they have to like some people are like above other people in terms of like different positions and everything. But then there's also these like different like segments that like the different ajas, and like that's very similar to fraternities and sororities. I don't know if anyone's ever talked about that before, but like I've noticed this since book 2. It's like really there, and it's interesting. I've never seen like someone pull from that, or at least that like elements, but there really seems to be a lot there. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. Elida apparently was just never good. She's just never a good person. I don't know. Like I guess I know that like Elida, like I know that some people say like if you look through Elida's eyes, like as a red Aja, like there's a lot of things that like you could agree with. But I think in this book you see like she's just unnecessarily mean to Moraine and so on. And so she's like I don't think that Elida she was always kind of a mean person. I love that we get Lan. Um, just period. Like I love that we get Lan then period, because like we really don't get Lan very much of Lan in the series. And like I love Lan. He's just so cool. And so getting more of him, that was awesome. I love the callback from I believe it was in the Great Hunt where they talk about like how the two met each other, and then we see it happen. Like I was so worried that like it would be, because I always remembered that scene in the Great Hunt where they talk about how they met each other, and then being like, oh, I hope it doesn't happen different in New Spring. I don't know why Robert Jordan would have it happen different with how detail oriented he is, but I was just really worried that it would happen different. But it happened. Like I got it all fleshed out. I got to see, Moraine went into the water, then she put the water on land. I love that. I thought it was really good. I also love that we got to see how Moraine came to searching for the dragon. I really liked that. I was happy to see how that came about. I thought there were a couple different things. I didn't know anything about what New Spring was about. I didn't know who was going to follow. I actually thought it was going to follow Tam. I thought it was like Tam and Moraine. Like they knew each other or something. I don't know. Yeah, Tam wasn't in this book at all. But that's what I thought. But I was pleasantly surprised with what it was. I really liked it. I love the twists when people are revealed to be dark friends or you didn't know they were dark friends. Like I like that. I think that that's so cool. I love that Robert Jordan uses that, and that just that exists in his stories. And yeah, I think that we see some pretty interesting dynamics, and it's so fun, like because we know of like where they end up, and so seeing Moraine and Lan at such odds with each other early on. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna keep this review pretty short, but yeah, I really enjoyed New Spring. read it in publication order. That would be my recommendation. And then, but yeah, there's some people that don't consider it part of the series. I certainly do. Anyway, if you guys disagreed with anything I said in this review, please leave a comment down below. But if you enjoyed the review, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.